We're going to get into this. John, you're going to be the gentleman that's going to be on the clock officially for this. We're going to let this thing roll. We're going to see who is available. And as you can see some of the guys coming off the board right now. Aiden Hutchinson went 1. Kavion went 2. We just saw Tyler Lindenbaum go at 7.
6? Who went 6? That's what's important.
6 was
Evan
Neal.
Just saying. Just saying, Panthers.
Hey, Zion Johnson off the board there at 17. That's true. They didn't have one. They didn't have much one.
John, and there was a trade up. There was a trade up from Malik Willis.
Yeah, that dude.
There was a trade up from Malik Willis. So I'll pause that real quick. Malik Willis was the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks, they're trading up at 3.
I hope and pray that is the case. It's either that or Baker, and I'd be very happy with that. I like Malik
John,
Willis.
you don't like Malik?
I do. I just don't think that he could fill in behind that terrible offensive line. If Russell Wilson couldn't be a playoff team, Malik Willis sure as hell can't his first year. I just think I like Malik Willis a lot. He's my first quarterback. He's going top 5. I firmly believe that, and he should. But you put him on a bad team, he needs time, and he needs to develop, and I don't think he can do that with that depth. I just don't see it.
John, did you get the memo? When you get selected at 3rd, you have to sit a year.
Oh, that's
so I don't think Malik Willis is going to start. I think you're going to get Drew Lock, and you'll be fine with that. Let him take the bumps and bruises because he's the guy who has been in the league. So, but
there you go.
Okay, so gentlemen, we do have a trade offer. It is from
Are we allowed to do trades? Is that okay? I'm not going to make it crazy.
You're the GM at the end of the day right now. You're going to get a final say on it. So I'm just going to let you know what the trade is, and then we can look at best available players. So the trade is pick 61 for San Francisco. Denver Broncos moving up 3 spots from 64, and they're giving up pick 232. So that's what the trade offer is. That's what they're giving. That's what they're offering to San Francisco. It's absolute hot garbage. I'm aware. It's not a great trade.
232. Come on, man.
232. Here is best available on the board here. Here's best available on the board.
Jason's about to lose his mind.
He is about to lose his
Katie's
mind.
available. What are we doing here?
Oh, dude. All right.
Christian Watson.
What are we doing here?
All right. This is going to be all right. So here's the deal. And this is, let me say this. This is the problem and the benefit of doing all these mock draft simulations, because guess what? Stuff happens. Creed Humphrey fell to pick 61. Never should have lasted. He's incredible. Anyway, you can go down the list. DK Metcalf fell. All these guys fall. So that will happen. Having said that, you don't like to plan for these situations. And I understand most of the listeners right now, I can't see your chat, but I guarantee you everybody's talking about Christian Watson. That's a beautiful thing. If he's there at 61, what did I say? Make Trey Lance comfortable. Having said that, I'm telling you right now, I'm not taking Christian Watson. I'm not taking him because I don't think that's a realistic approach. And whenever we get to our draft and we do make a pick at 61, yes, I say we when I talk to 49ers. I spend a lot of time talking about them. Everybody's going to be pissed off because you didn't get Christian Watson or Samson. Ebiketie, who's incredible. So I'm going to be a little harsh here. Y'all can be pissed off at me all you want. That's okay. I don't think those two are reasonable options at this point. If they are there, I would be very happy. I would love to pair Christian Watson. Jason, do you agree with me?
No, I would, but not at 61. At 61, if Ebiketie's there, then I think it's a slam dunk because he immediately rolls right into the role. And this is impossible. It's impossible, guys. Again, 61 would have been very much in play once we got out of the Senior Bowl. But when you start to break down the film and a bunch of people got a chance to look at him at the Senior Bowl, his stock rose the entire time. Same thing with Christian Watson. I don't think there was a bigger riser aside from maybe a Calvin Austin, guys who have really raised their stock in other ways. Christian Watson was the guy that everybody walked away trying to speak about. Now, when you look at 49ers fans, what are they going to say? It's obvious that it needs to be Christian Watson. At 61, if Christian Watson and Ebiketie were on the board, I would still take Ebiketie based on the way that this team drafts and the way that they build their roster. I think Ebiketie is too easy to pass up or too hard to pass up in terms of pass rush, falls right into that D forward lane. Yes, he has concerns in the run defensive portion of his game, but D Ford couldn't stop the run either. That's not why he was brought there. Ebiketie becomes that edge rusher that Nick Bosa has been needing that will be consistent on obvious passing downs and third downs.
Yep. I
agree with you big time on Ebiketie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, John. I was just saying I agree. Yeah. I mean, the other thing to look at with you're talking about edge rusher is you have a bunch of edge rushers right now for the 49ers that are on the last year of their contract. So they are going to have to improve for the future. So they will address edge rusher at some point, but it has to be early, I think, because if you get someone late, they might not be able to make this roster with the current rotation. Not to mention they have another guy coming in for, a workout, potentially a lot of potential there as well. So edge rusher early is the only time it makes sense, because I don't think you get a developmental guy, because you're not going to really stash this guy. Are you going to redshirt him potentially on your practice squad?
So a couple things, and I'm with you. And like, if you look at the NFL and the starters across the NFL at the edge position, all first, second round picks, almost all of them. So if you want a quality tier edge guy, you do have to go early. But if I'm the general manager, if Ebiketie there, sure, I'm willing to 100% make that. And I understand he's on the board here, but come on, man, I believe in miracles. I'm not feeling it right now. So I want to give the listeners a very realistic approach to what this mock draft could be like. So I can't discount everybody that is there. So here's the thought process going through my head. How do I help Trey Lance? First and foremost, I want to look at wide receivers and I want to look at interior offensive linemen. Those are the first two. Not saying I won't draft other outside of that position. Not at all. Slot corner is very high on the need for me personally. I think I see the slot corner as a defensive starter that plays 70% of the snaps in the NFL. And I also see it as where we've been burned in the playoffs with that slot fade. I want somebody that can guard that. So those are kind of the three positions that come to mind for me first. Jason, as the owner of the 49ers in this situation, am I correct? Am I allowed to look at those three?
As the owner of the 49ers, I don't make statements that are stupid or anything like that in any way. And I allow the guys who are smarter than I to make the correct decisions. God. And I don't make comparisons to Joe Montana and Steve Young and Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo as the 49ers owner. Okay, just, So
Jason was supposed to go into politics. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look.
Hey,
maybe. I just got to cut the beard if I want to do that.
Can I get some drunk tweets out of you?
That's what we really need to know.
Yeah, as the owner of the 49ers.
We need drunk tweets.
Listen, just get us to Vegas and we'll make it happen. Like I promise you.
There we go.
It's not going to be hard to do that.
So, look, though, you guys make some good points there. Going interior offensive line, I get it. Going wide receiver, too, I get it as well. It does help Trey Lance, but this team has also been built identity-wise around the defense. And while, going edge would be nice and important and help stabilize some things, we do kind of have a glaring hole right now at safety. And you got a guy like Jalen Petrie sitting here on the board at 59. That makes sense. It really does make sense in terms of a guy who can plug and play. He's going to come in there and be able to compete day one off the get-go at that safety spot. There is a glaring hole there. And the defense and the secondary and the rotation, guys being able to flow up into the box. There are some guys later that I truly do like. But if we're thinking about plugging holes and making sure we got a team here that is solid around Trey Lance, defensively, we need to make sure we also have that secondary shirt up, making sure that defense isn't giving up a lot of points. Let's keep the pressure off the young guy early. Like, we all know the upsides there, right? We got the potential, and we do have some weapons around him already. We think the offense could take an uptick with a guy like Trey, but can we make sure, too, defensively maybe, we're not giving up a bunch of points, not put a bunch of pressure on the young second-year quarterback.
And you're not going to find a bigger – oh, I'm sorry, John.
No, I was just going to say, could you put the wide receivers that are available up there? I'm just curious. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
No, you're not going to find a bigger Jalen Petrie fan than I am in terms of what he does. 18 tackles for loss. You're talking about a guy who's a star player, can play down and he's literally Jimmy Ward, and you could flip those guys as you know, free safety and strong safety. There is no real designation for those guys. Those guys float around. They do whatever they want. But I'm telling you what I think from the 49ers point of view, and maybe I don't even really agree with this. And we're just talking about where we are on the board right now. They believe that they have enough with Tarvarius Moore. Odom, I think that the Odom move is a little bit more than special teams than people want to believe because of the money that was allocated to this man. Okay, so he's played strong safety. You have Tarvarius, right?
And the tape,
right? Like you have Tarvarius Moore. You have Odom, right? But Ebiketie kind of just lends itself to the philosophy that this team has kind of had in terms of, well, maybe you're a little bit soft in a certain spot in the secondary, but guess what? Quarterbacks can't throw the ball when they're on their back. And that's what Ebiketie would bring for, Nick Bosa. And when you line up Kinlaw and Armstead, you're talking about this is your turbo pack or whatever it is, your third down, your obvious passing situation thing. It's Ebiketie he's got his concerns in the run defense, but at the same time, when you put pressure on the quarterback, your secondary doesn't have to really cover. And this 49ers team, this regime, has largely addressed the position later on. They've never really looked at cornerback and other places in the secondary as much as they have in the trenches. So I'm just trying to put myself in the thought process of what's going on in that room. And when you're looking at like getting pressure, Ebiketie right now for me is the move. Just for me in terms of the way that the 49ers have moved in this entire regime.
Asante Samuel Jr. was on the board when the 49ers were picking
100%.
last year, and they said, "Oh, let's trade back."
100%. And that's my thing is, look, they are obviously on the side of pressure over coverage right now. And that's what it is. They can identify coverage guys later on that will be fine, but they're not looking for like a straight up lockdown guy. I think they feel like they've got it with Charvarius Ward. I can't judge the move until we see, it being played. He had a great season, but if I'm putting myself in their position, they're going to address the defensive line position, and they need another pass rusher. Ebukam can come in. Here he is on certain downs, and they have other guys, Jordan Willis, all those guys who can kind of just like fill in here and there. But Ebiketie fills in with that D4 role that made that defense so dominant in 2019. That's where I feel like they're just going to try to just gravitate to. But again, I think we all agree at 61, Ebiketie's not going to be there. He's just not going to be there.
I like it. And I will say this, when Jason and I start our first boy band, Pressure Over Coverage will be our first single, just so you know. So just
solid.
Get that ready for you.
Solid.
All right, let's see. Can we see the interior offensive linemen, namely centers?
Absolutely.
But I know everybody kind of marks that weird, so we can bounce back a little. Lindstrom's there, Juergens there. That is awesome. Go over Sean Ryan's there. I like Sean Ryan out of UCLA. He played left tackle for him. I mean, the guy was awesome. Not sure about the center thing. I'm going to stay away from that. He's a little big. I like Cole Strange. So I immediately, I like Donovan West there. Here's what my thinking is. I'm going to discount the interior offensive lineman at this point because a stud didn't fall. And I know that they're going to this one's going to have some other guys in there, but I'm going to wait on the interior offensive line. I saw a lot of guys at wide receiver. I want to focus this pick on wide receiver. I don't know. Are we doing polls? What's happening here? Hey, what's the process?
No polls. It's going to be you, but hold on a second. Here's a question. Ant, is there a receiver on here that you're thinking is a better fit than potentially Watson?
You already know where I was going to go. It's John Mechie. I love John Mechie.
It's true.
I love John Mechie. So I would instantly gravitate towards John Mechie. I think he would fit what the 49ers are trying to do. I have often thought they needed somebody to stretch the field. That's not what Mechie would do overall. I just think he would fit the makeup of what they want to do with the addition of Ray McLeod and all that. So he's somebody that jumped off. But there's other players right there that are available too. Like I love David Bell as well, and I wouldn't be against any of those guys. So I think this is actually a nice spot for a wide receiver.
All right, so I'm going wide receiver. Now I have to preface this so the hate mail that comes to my house is just correct. You know what I'm saying? Again, if I would go, this is the order I would go. If this was the actual board, I would go Ebiketie 1. I would go Christian Watson 2. I do not believe either one of those two guys are available, so I'm discounting those to give a little bit more of a realistic option. And some people are going to say, well, this isn't a realistic option either. But there is a wide receiver there that I am going to take, and it is not Mechie, even though I love him. This guy led the entire NCAA in missed tackles forced. He is elusive to the point that he fits exactly what Kyle Shanahan wants. Sky Moore, wide receiver, Western Michigan. Okay. I love this kid. I absolutely love what he brings, whether it's contested catches, whether it's route running, which him and Brandon Ayuk would be battling week 1 for best route runner on the team. And I think the reason why I put such a premium on wide receiver, also Kyle does, I think it's 9 out of the first 40 picks that this front office has had is all wide receivers. And that doesn't even count the Emmanuel Sanders trade. So Kyle Shanahan loves him some wide receivers, and he still doesn't have the depth that he wants. If Ayuk or Debo, for some reason, have something go wrong, I get a little worried. And so make Trey comfortable. We don't want to throw to Travis Benjamin any longer. And so this would be a positive. Travis Benjamin's incredible. He had his time. I think it's just time to get him some quality. Look at Jason shaking his head at me.
No, I'm shaking my head because Travis Benjamin just heard what you said. Like
he tweets me. He tweets me. Well, here's what's great. Travis Benjamin retweets me and subtweets me and then deletes it a day later, which I'm like, leave it up there, man. Like And I don't know. I would have never said anything bad about him until he started tweeting at me. And then I'm like, all right, that's fair.
Well, I think it was something along the lines of like, why is he here? Like those.
That came after he started it.
Okay.
He started it. I like that guy. I said something positive about him once. Sky Moore. I want Sky Moore. That's Sky Moore.
There it is.
All right, so Sky Moore is going to be the pick there. I like that there. Not a bad option. There really wasn't a lot of terrible options there for us. There was a lot of good players, solid players, and I think a lot of guys. I know Jason's like sitting there going, guys, no, these dudes are not going to be here. What is happening here? What are we doing, PFN? What are we doing? So look though, John, you just made the pick. Sky Moore is the selection. Christian Watson just went off the board to the Chiefs. So you think would have taken him earlier, right?
Christian Watson's going at 30 at least, the latest by the time the Chiefs.
I would love to have him though. I would love to have him.
Yeah.
Just want to say thanks for watching and supporting the 49ers Rush podcast channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so in the middle of the screen now. And here are a few extra videos if you want to check that out for some more 49ers content. Just want to say thank you. And as always, stay strong, faithful.